What is going on, everybody? And welcome all you people from YouTube. I really appreciate you showing up. So if you want, if you're feeling it, if you're not hiding at your desks at work, maybe jump in the comments and get involved in the conversation, because today we have an amazing discussion. Every time that you people see me on here, I always announce and am talking and reminding you of something amazing that we have coming up, something that I am very proud of. A lot of people are very proud of, and we're a week away. Rob, I can see Rob backstage. Rob, we're a week away. Isn't that crazy? I'm just going to talk to him while nobody can see him. But we are a week away from the Young Professionals Leadership Summit, October 19th, next Friday, a week from today, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So if you haven't yet, go get your tickets. YPLsummit.com. That is YPLSUMMIT.com, and get your tickets. You still got a few left for in person. If you can't make it to Toronto, totally fine. We got you covered. You can get virtual tickets as well and watch it from wherever there is internet. And with Starlink these days, that's anywhere, literally, and I can attest to that. But we're very excited, and we're going to give you, hopefully, 5 very strong reasons why you should be attending. We have some of the speakers here today. We're going to get to know them a little bit, and we're going to show off some of their experience, some of their knowledge, and what they're going to bring, a little tidbit of what they're going to bring to the event, to the in-person event on October 19th. But first, I want everybody to hear a little bit of a word from the man that actually started it all. And I'll say he's an amazing person. He works hard. He talks just enough shit that I absolutely love being involved with him. But very happy to present to the stage Rob Cameron Poor. How you doing, brother?
What's up? How's it going, Zach? How are you?
I'm doing amazing. So tell everybody a little bit of like how did this get started? The inception of the Young Professionals Leadership Summit.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Zach. Glad to be here today. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the countdown to our event, which will be really exciting. So just a quick overview of how it started. It was all started as a pipe dream, and I had this idea of starting the podcast, starting in this coaching business, and talking to great people such as yourself, Zach. I had an idea of, hey, why not gather some great people that are surrounding us and put them all in one room and give back to not only the community, the globally, in a lot of young professionals out there who are struggling with leadership, and that's due to lack of training, coaching, and being in that spot myself, being thrown into the fire with no direction. There's no manuals when it comes to leadership. So I started talking to various people. I started putting the idea out there, and lo and behold, we're a week away from it. So I'm very excited. I think you're one of the first people I spoke to, Zach, about this. So I'm so happy to be joining you guys and your team to do this. And you guys have been phenomenal in terms of, helping out, putting all the pieces together. So I'm very excited for this. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's amazing to see something start as an idea, like you said, a pipe dream, so to speak, and then how it's come together. Like we just did a dry run a few days ago with another individual who's been so nice, so kind to help us put this event together. And we got finished it, and we're like, this is going to be pretty good. Like when you have that light bulb that goes off, you're like, dang, this is we did it. Well, so far, like this, we see it. Like it's an amazing feeling. So we're very excited for everybody to be there, for everybody to get the value out of it. But I want to introduce some of the main reasons that people are going to get so much out of this event and so many takeaways from this event. But we have a couple of the speakers here today. I'm not going to introduce them. I want them to introduce themselves. When I'm bringing them up to the stage, we're going to give them 30 seconds. We're going to test to see how quickly they can brag about themselves here. But we have Emily and Greg joining us today. So let's start on my right. Let's start with Emily. Emily, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you're excited to share with everybody.
Hi. So yeah, I'm super thrilled to be a part of this. I'm really excited to be able to share my story, how I came into leadership, and the pivotal events that really shaped how I lead people today. I'm a young woman in a technical field with relatively zero technical experience, so it's been quite the journey.
Yeah, it's so you work on the railroad.
Yeah, yeah. I work at
Yeah.
Mansard Canadian Rail as a business administration manager. I take on several projects all the time. It's really, really diverse. It's fast paced and lots of technical stuff. So
I love it. You're going to be a very good example of you diving into the unknown and how do you come out of that succeeding and as a very successful leader. So we're very excited to have you, Emily. But Greg, your turn, my friend.
Hey everyone, Greg Corrali. I am a retired from full-time engineer and line manager and corporate executive. I spent 35 years in the electric and gas utility industry, most of it in the US, but spent a couple of years up in Toronto. Love Toronto, working with Rob Comerpour and the team up there as their chief operating officer. So I am thrilled, and I'm a consultant, and I spent a lot of time coaching those who are coming up in the corporate world, right? Because I know the challenges that they face coming up, although there are new challenges every day and the world of work is changing. But I enjoy just trying to give them the best that I can do in terms of the experience I had, pitfalls they might want to watch out for, mistakes I made along the way and that I've seen others make. And if I can help them in their leadership journey, then it's all worth it to me.
I can attest to that because I've had Greg on the podcast before, and we've done a live together before as well. And we were putting up case studies, and he had like, oh, I have a story about this. Oh, I've been done that before. He has a story, he has the experience, and he can align it with your situation very well. So we're very excited to have him. And actually, somebody just snuck in. Look at that. There we go.
Hi everyone.
So we were just introducing everybody. So can you introduce yourself and give everybody a little bit of a tidbit on what they can expect from you at the event? You're jumping right in. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, Zach. Well, first of all, actually, sorry, guys. We were on the other link. I think you said
gotcha.
different links, right? If I'm correct. So I was with somebody else there, and it seemed like, sorry?
There we go.
Yes.
All right,
Hi,
go ahead.
everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Tabo. I'm a medical doctor and an inspirational speaker. I've been using the gift of my voice and story to connect with humanity, to open people's hearts to their bigger, higher selves. I believe that I am called to help people live out their best life possible. And that's a little bit about myself.
That's very impressive. You were on speaker, correct?
Yes. Okay. Oh, you wanted me to go that far. Okay.
I didn't want to go that far, but I'm trying to brag for you a little bit.
Right. Okay. So I've done a TEDx talk about a few years ago, and I've also since been highlighted on Global News TV, CBC News Network, the Canadian Immigrant Magazine, and what else? Yes, I think that's what I can think about from on top of my head. But I'm really excited to meet you all. I think it's going to be such a great event, and bring in your questions, bring your positive attitude. It's going to be an inspirational day.
Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, she has so much to brag about. She can't remember it all right now. So that's a testament to her. So we're very, very excited to have her as part of the team, part of the speaker team that's going to be there. But one more, Paymon, introduce yourself, my friend.
Good evening right now. Nice to meet you guys. So my name is Paymon. Been an entrepreneur since I was 23 years old. Came to Canada as a refugee, lived in German Holocaust camps for 4 years, from the time I was 8 till I was 12, and came to Canada, got into the fitness industry, studied kinesiology and health science. I was 3 years away from being a chiropractic doctor. I decided to shift gears and started my own financial firm with my wife. And right now we've been doing it for 16 years. I love to lead. I love to change people's lives. And throughout our career, we've been able to help tens of people transition and change them from an employee to entrepreneurs and help them scale their business to a multiple six-figure business. And that's what I do.
It's impressive, my friend.
Thank
Very,
you.
very impressive. But as you can tell, this is why we're so excited. One of the many reasons why we're so excited for this event and for the value that we're going to be able to bring, because this is the type of people that we have there. And this isn't even all of them. We have much more that are going, many more that are going to be there. We're very excited. But today we have some questions that were sent in by you. And I'm not saying you specifically, but some of you that are listening to this had sent in questions. So we're going to run through some of them. So we're going to start out. I'm going to bring up a slide. It's going to have a question on it. One of them is going to start the conversation. They're going to start the conversation, answer the question, and then we're going to let everybody kind of jump in and give their 2 cents, and then we're going to move on. Does that sound good to everybody here? Beautiful. Right. Rob, you good? Boss man?
Yeah.
Looking sharp as ever. All right. So question number 1. What should be my top priorities in my first 90 days as a new manager? And I believe Greg wanted to lead this one off, my friend.
Sure. So, you're probably overwhelmed as a new manager, and you're almost like, where do I begin? But what you want to do, I think, here is prove the people who gave you the job, who promoted you, prove them right. So how do you do that? Right? They're going to be looking at you closely over that first 90-day period, and they're going to be evaluating, hey, did I choose the right person? I think I did, but hopefully they're going to prove it to me. So you want to build credibility. You want to secure some early wins, as I call them. And you're trying to, fit in with a new team now. You're at a different level, right? You're a manager. Maybe you're promoted from an individual contributor, and now you're a boss, so to speak, right? You have direct reports reporting to you. So you've got to build credibility within your team, but you've got to think differently. You've got greater responsibility now. You're not just an individual contributor. So you've got to start to think about, what are the goals of the department now, right? Or the group that I manage. And now I'm responsible for those overall goals. And I have a team of people to get it done for me. It's not just me. It's all of us working together to do that. So you've got to learn some new skills. You got to learn to delegate. You got to learn to project manage a little bit. You're not just a doer anymore, but all eyes are on you. So you want to make a mindset shift. You want to think about the job differently now, right? And maybe you even want to come in on that Monday morning and the start of the new job, and you want to dress differently. Maybe you want to act a little bit differently. Maybe you want to be a little bit more friendly and greet people. You want to meet your peers, right? You want to meet with your direct reports, your new direct reports, one-on-one now. So you're trying to build relationships, build some credibility, and you're also starting to assess things that are going on. So how's the group doing? How's the department doing? And what are some ongoing problems that have existed now for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple months, maybe even longer than that? And maybe through some listening, right, and talking to your direct reports and talking to peers and talking to others, people that you serve, whether they're customers or other employees, how can I solve that? How can I help solve that? Maybe you want to put a little team together to figure it out. But if you can secure some early wins, solve some problems, maybe not some huge ones, right? But maybe a couple of problems that have been lingering, and you want to build those relationships and make those assignments to do that, you're going to start to build credibility. And then you're going to get some wins, and you're going to be known as a manager to say, hey, this person seems to be functioning differently now. They're functioning at a higher level. They're listening. They're trying to help me solve my problem. I'm really impressed with that person. They've really kind of moved into that new leadership role effectively. So those are just some thoughts about, what you can think about and what you can do in that first 90 days as a new manager.
And that is some amazing advice. Build the credibility, get some quick wins, and develop those relationships. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add?
I'll jump in if you don't mind.
Yep. Just remind everybody. Go ahead.
Awesome. So here's the way I look at it. As a manager, everything will revolve around your team that you're basically managing. So as a brand new manager, I think what most brand new managers need to do in the first 90 days is to prioritize understanding the current team that they're leading, to really see each individual, who they are, understand everybody's strengths and their weaknesses. Because as a manager, I want to see how I lead people. How can I move people? And it's impossible to move someone that you don't know. So it's very, very important to take the time in the first 90 days to really understand your team, understand the dynamics of everybody, hear their stories, figure out what moves them, what drives them, so that you can move them accordingly, because everybody gets moved differently. So that's one thing that I would add on, is to take the time to understand your team.
Super valuable. That team SWOT analysis and that individual audit. That's big. Anybody else have anything to add to that one?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So for me, I would say that, just to add on to what everybody else has already mentioned, I would say that I think it's very important to adapt to the new culture, new environment, study your team, like what everybody else said, move in excellence, move in integrity, be sincere and honest about your role as well as a manager. Also learn your role, learn your team very well. And I think as a leader, as a manager, generally, I think it's important for you to move in integrity and in the spirit and vein of excellence.
Beautiful. I love it. Rob, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a few things. So getting to know your team is an absolute must. So, and I think you guys have mentioned that, but also, get to know the people above you and also beside you. So if you've got peers, leaders who are your peers, get to know them as well and see how you can work with them. And the other thing I like to add on there, which is very important for me, and I do this with all my teams, is set expectations. I think setting clear expectations, within the 90 days in terms of, what you're looking for, and make that very clear with your team, and have them give you their expectations as well. I think that helps, alleviate a lot of miscommunication and understanding down the road.
Beautiful. Also getting a lay of the political land as well.
Yeah.
That helps a lot in that regard. That was beautiful. Anybody have anything to add before we move on to the next one? That was beautifully covered. Awesome. All right. I say beautiful a lot, so I just bear with me. All right. Question number 2, and I believe Emily was going to lead the way for this one, but how do I establish credibility and earned respect when some of my team members might be more experienced than I am? Take it away, Emily.
Yeah, so this is a really exciting one for me to talk about, because I came into the railway industry not knowing anything about the railway. In fact, on my first day, I remember asking what a locomotive was, and I was sitting in a locomotive shop. So not great. But as I came into my role, I was managing the administration for the group and taking on all of the contracts. I started to ask questions, and I got involved, and I got on the floor, and I pulled in all of the technical experts, and I had them sit with me and go through things. And by being honest and just being vulnerable, showing that I really didn't know anything about this field, I was able to build a rapport with them. I was able to ask crucial questions that contributed to the overall business, which made them feel like they were contributing to the business as well. And through that, we were able to build a really great trust. And I really think that posing the questions and getting involved with the people on the floor when you don't know something is what's going to help build your credibility. And as you do that, you're going to build a great trust with your team, which will help you lead in the future as you take on more and more under your belt. So for me, that was the pivotal point. And just get involved, like walk around, talk to people. It'll help build your credibility, and it'll help put you in the stance of leadership.
I love that. Know what you don't know. That is so important, especially when you're jumping into a role where you're not innately an expert in. So that's amazing advice. Who wants to add to that?
I could certainly add a comment or two. I love what she shared. I think that's right on. You're not going to know everything that a lot of these people that have been in the business for decades know, but you bring other skills to the table, right? You bring those leadership, managerial, maybe softer skills, right? Analytical skills that those people don't have. And over time, over a short period of time, you're going to be able to demonstrate that as well. But I think being vulnerable, right? And being a great listener, genuinely showing a desire to learn about the business and tap into those more experienced employees, right? Experience and what they know, they're going to love that. If they see that you truly want to learn about the business, they're going to spill the beans. They're going to share everything with you. If they think you're doing it for, if you have an ulterior motive or your reasons aren't pure, maybe not so much. But if you play a little bit maybe a little bit of that subservient role and say, hey, look, I don't know. I want to know this business. I want to learn about it more, and then maybe I can help you in different ways. I think they're going to share the world with you. It's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Giving your objective view credibility. Beautiful. Who else? Anybody else have anything to add to that?
So Zach, I'll add something to that with around the earning respect. So you have to understand that in order to earn respect, you have to give respect. And that's very important. Park your ego aside and don't let the titles get into your head.
Ooh, don't let the title get into your head. That's a good one. That's something that people, even if they say they don't struggle with that, they sometimes struggle with that completely. Anybody else?
Sorry, go ahead.
I think what I'll just add on to what Rob just said. I think what you said is very powerful. I think it's very important when you're in a position of leadership, first to be humble and second to be authentic, to be willing to learn yourself, and then also to extend grace and kindness to your team players, to your team members, to show that you're concerned, to show that you care. And I always say this, when you step into a space, into a room, people can always pick up on your energy in terms of if you care. And with time, as you extend that to the people that you're working with, they'll pick up on it and they'll respect you. And I think then that way you can create a sense of community where there is where people are able to thrive.
Beautiful. I love it. Paymon, you wanted to add to that? Whoa, I don't know why that happened.
Just very quickly. So I'm a firm believer that leadership is not a position, but it's action. So if you want to earn respect, what Rob said, you got to give respect. But also one thing that will bring respect in terms of you being in a management or a leadership position is to take action. In other words, roll up your sleeves and be willing to do the work. And that will bring a lot of respect to you, that you're leading by example, you're leading at the front, you're willing to do even the smallest tasks that an employee should be doing. And that should earn your respect around a company. So take action. So roll up your sleeves. Get dirty.
Lead by example. Beautiful. Love it. Anybody else have anything to add before we move on? Got a few more. Good. All right. How should I don't know who's going to lead this one, so I'm just going to hand it off to Paymon because you're the first one I got. So, all right. How should I approach delegation, especially when I'm used to just worrying about myself as an individual contributor?
So that's a very good question, because I've been in that position myself, and it's funny that you picked me for it. One of the things that I learned is if you were always worried about yourself, delegation is for you, because if you don't learn to delegate, you will eventually burn out. If you're trying to do everything on your own, you will eventually burn out. So coming from me, so I've got a type of personality. If you ask my wife, she's like, I'm an action-oriented individual. I'm technical, analytical. Not the most organized, structured system individual, but knowing that weakness, I started surrounding myself with the right people that are more organized, that help me get organized, that are more systematic, that can do the systematic part of the business. So I would delegate that. So you got to know your weaknesses and what you're not good at. If you care for yourself, you wouldn't do everything on your own, because eventually you would burn out. But giving your weaknesses and bringing in the right people to delegate to is what you need to be thinking about. You don't want to delegate your strengths. You want to delegate your weaknesses. And so for me, it was always a system organization, and I have the right people that are organized, they're system driven, and I delegate my weaknesses to them. And that makes me look good, and that makes the organization grow in a much faster pace.
Delegation would be one of the most, I don't want to highlight myself, or what the heck is going on? There we go. Delegation is one of the most important, impactful skills that you can develop, and setting your team up for to be delegated to is huge. Absolutely love that. Anybody else have anything to add?
So
I've got something.
Go ahead.
Oh, Rob, you're just a little slow.
No, but I think just to add to that, when you surround yourself with good people and you know your own faults and you can delegate to those individuals, you start working more collaboratively and winning together. And so it's just a shift in mindset. Instead of you trying to get the carrot, keep winning and moving forward, you're now moving as a unit and as a team. And as a leader, that's your responsibility, is to make sure that your team keeps moving forward and that you empower those around you by delegating those key tasks to them.
Empowering others. Beautiful. Love it. Rob, was that what you were going to say?
Something along those lines. So what I wanted to share is something I do, and some people might not agree with this, is knowing your team's strength and weaknesses is one thing. What I like to do is delegate the difficult stuff to people that have had challenges, or might not believe in themselves of doing that specific task or project, and challenge them to get out of their comfort zone. However, you're there to support them, and you're always accountable. Whatever that happens at the end of the day, you're putting your hand up. I think that's so powerful because it builds a lot of trust with the leader. It helps motivate them. It helps really build their confidence. And once they get out of their own head and they don't have that fear anymore, the sky's the limit for them. So it's helped develop a lot of people.
Yeah, putting them in positions that they have to challenge themselves and surprise themselves.
Yeah.
That's huge. Anybody else got anything? I'm gonna move on. All right. That's it. This is question number 4. I am brand new to leading anybody and I'm struggling. What are some strategies that I can use to handle imposter syndrome? And is this common for people new to leadership? Who I got? Dr. Tabo, I just haven't picked you yet. So you're up. You're up here.
First of all, I would say that I think it's important as a leader to first recognize that imposter syndrome is very common. And one of the things that you can counterfeit that is through validating yourself, affirming yourself, reminding yourself that you worked hard to get there, to be in that position. And then also learning more about your role and learning more about the culture of the political landscape that you're working in. And I would also add on to say that as a leader, you also need a supportive system. There are people that you can go back to run your thoughts through, people to encourage you, people to remind you that you're valuable, that you're deserving of the role that you're currently in. And most importantly, that, your past results also prove that you have the ability to thrive and to excel in a new leadership role. And I would also add that, it's also very important to talk to your team members, the people that you're working with, and see if, there are any gaps, so that way you can better improve in your new role. And I believe that in time, that will also help boost your confidence and your self-esteem in that role.
Beautifully said. Giving your past experience and past accomplishments, give them credibility, give them credit. Even if they're not exactly the same thing, give them credit. You figured things out before. You can do this. I love it. Anybody have anything to add? Yeah, I know. She crushed it. I know. I'm speechless too. Nobody's got anything?
I will. I'll add an item or two. I think it was beautifully said. Yes, it's common. But as was said, somebody saw something in you, right? They saw those leadership skills and abilities, right? There's a reason you're now in this new position of leadership. You demonstrated it, you showed an interest in it, and others recognized it in you, and that's why you're sitting in this role. So you got to have confidence in yourself, right? You don't ever forget that. But now you're going to be learning new skills. So, and you're going to understand how to have to lead a team, and those do require new skills. So back up, right? Where do you think you've gone wrong? Have you met with your boss? Did you get clear on what your new role is in leading that group? Are you clear on those responsibilities? Get their feedback. Maybe where do they think, you're kind of hitting on all cylinders, where you're doing well, and maybe where you're not paying attention to. So get some feedback. You might even want to ask some of your directs as well. Hey, where are we not paying attention to something that maybe we should, right? Where do you need help? How can I support you? So go back, retrace your steps, and say, what am I doing well? Get some feedback. Maybe where can I improve? But you need a plan. Don't forget. Don't just wing it. When you're a new manager and a new leader, the wing it strategy, you might start off well, but you're going to fail at some point. You need a plan. If you have a plan, I guarantee you 90 days down the road, 180 days, a year down the road, you're going to have accomplished a whole lot more, as if you didn't have it, as compared to you not having a plan. So put a plan together, establish some credibility, get some feedback from others, right? Start to delegate, because you're going to get overwhelmed with all of the activities, and you're going to realize that you can't do it all yourself.
Clarity and focus are imposter syndrome's greatest enemies, I think, in a lot of ways. So that was very well put. Greg, anybody else?
I feel like it's a lot more common for leaders that are new in a leadership role to have imposter syndrome, especially when they're leading a team that may be a little bit more experienced than they are, that maybe are more educated than they are, or perhaps even older than they are, for younger up and coming leaders. But one thing that I think would help is reaching out to those individuals that they're leading, that are a little bit more experienced, and exactly what others have said, is to get feedback from them, gain their wisdom, gain their experiences, see where things are at and how you can improve. And exactly what Doctor said is constantly remind yourself of your past success and that you're worthy of where you are. But most importantly, if you're leading a team of more experienced or maybe more educated or older individuals, gain their wisdom, be a sponge, and be ready to soak in and implement.
Seeking out feedback is huge to developing your own skills. I love it. Beautiful. Anybody else? Yeah, I say beautiful a lot. Sorry, everybody. Anybody else got anything? That was covered like a wet blanket. I love it. All right, last one. All right. I am about a year into my management position, and the company is acquiring another one. That can be stressful. There are a bunch of changes coming. What's your approach to leading through change and uncertainty? This is a good one. Who wants to lead this off? Whoever I hear first.
I can start. That's fine.
Oh, all right. Hog in the limelight. I'm just joking. It was great, man.
So one of the things that you got to do as a leader, especially in this role, when your current company is acquiring another one, is to meet with your existing team that you're leading and sell the vision of how great it is and what great opportunities come with acquisition, and how much bigger you guys can go and how much bigger you guys can grow, because by acquiring another company, we're growing, we're expanding the glass ceiling. You got to be able to sell that vision. So one of the things that leaders must learn is how to sell the vision, right? So when you're acquiring another company, you got to be able to sell that vision. The second thing you got to be able to do is take the time to really understand the culture of the company that you guys are acquiring, that you're going to be leading down the road. So understanding the new company's culture is very, very important. That is going to help you in your leadership role. And of course, you want to be in a position that you're not walking into a new company or a new company coming in, you're blindfolded. So understand their culture. So sell the vision of how good this could be. It's going to be a good move. There's big opportunities. B, secondly, understand their other team's culture, and that will help you tremendously with that transition. And third, as a leader, a successful leader is never rigid. So if you want to be able to transition into change is inevitable. It will always take place. So therefore, always be flexible, right? I don't want to be preaching, but there's a biblical phrase that says, sinned are those that are rigid because they will always break out of shape, but blessed are those that are flexible because they will always bend. So you got to be flexible in your ways and don't be a rigid leader.
Beautifully said. I love that is one of the most impactful, important things a leader can do, is unifying your team around a collective vision. That is a beautiful place to start. Again, I'm saying it all the time. Anybody else got anything to add to that? This is a good topic that we could soak up quite a bit. Rob, you got something to say?
Yeah, I'm going to add a few things, and it was greatly said, Payman. And then I'm probably going to pass it on to Greg, because I know he's been involved in some M&As. So I think, again, as a leader, understanding why things are happening, asking questions if you're not sure. There's certain aspects of the M&A that you don't understand, or you want to make sure. How are you impacted by this change, and how is your team impacted by the change? And one of the most important things is being transparent with your team and helping them understand, because they're going to have a lot of questions. Information gets sent down and it gets filtered sometimes, and they don't really get a lot of the info from up top. So just being transparent with your team and making sure they understand what the process involves, why this is happening, and just asking them, hey, if you've got any questions, if I don't know the answer, I'll try to go and find out, get those answers for you.
Managing uncertainty, big one. You don't want people making up all these stories in their head to get in the worst case scenario coming out. Don't want that. Greg, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I think the most important thing you need to do as a leader when you see change coming down the road, whether it's you being acquired, you acquiring someone else, as this instance refers to, don't forget what role you take on now as the leader of your group. You are the chief communications officer for your group. So communicate and over communicate, right? People will be concerned. They will be distracted. What does this mean for me? What does it mean for our group? They're going to be running through all kinds of questions. Well, the best advice for them is keep your head down, right? Not low profile, but don't forget the job that you do every day. Do it very well from this point forward. Just stay hunkered down, do the job, execute well. Execute maybe better than you ever have before, right? Because people might be looking, others might be looking at your group and saying, well, how do they fit in with the new company? And maybe there's a possibility of some departments coming together. You want to put your best foot forward. So don't be distracted. Yeah, this sounds sexy and wonderful, all this other stuff, but don't forget what your primary job is and your role every day, and make sure you're executing well. And as the leader, you need to communicate with your team. When you get an update, maybe you can establish a weekly call. Maybe it's 10 or 15 minutes with your team, or a quick meeting to say, hey, here's the latest update that we got on the acquisition that's coming down the road, right? And then they're kept informed, and then you quickly transition to, okay, what's on the agenda for this week? What do we got to get done, right? We've got to execute. What are the key things that we've got to accomplish this week? So a couple of thoughts.
Well, that was great advice, and I love that. I was helping. I worked with Hewlett Packard as they were acquiring another company, and that other company, they were freaking out. They're like, "Are we Zerto or are we Hewlett Packard? I don't know what's going on." But the leadership of that they were dealing with in Hewlett Packard gave them a great kind of analogy. I want you all to think of this like the draft. Like you're playing whatever sport you're a fan of. Think of it like the draft. All eyes are on you. This is your opportunity. More eyes are going to be on you than probably ever before, because we're strategically trying to make decisions and that kind of stuff. So use this as an opportunity. Put your best foot forward and use that to motivate you. See it as an opportunity. So I love that. Anybody else have anything to add? No? All right. That was it for the questions. You all did absolutely amazing. Does anybody have anything to add? Anything that they want to? Maybe they want to brag about. Dr. Tabo, did you think of any other awards that you have? That you want to, no. Does anybody have anything to add? Rob?
Other than looking forward to working with all these wonderful speakers and people next week, it's going to be great.
No, I am very excited about it. Like I said before the other two came on, we did a kind of a run through the other day with somebody who's helping us organize the event. And after we got done running through everything, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, this is going to be good. Kind of that light bulb went off. Like it all kind of came together. It felt smooth. It was easy. It was simple. I want to say simple. It was simple, not easy. Maybe that's the right way to say it. It just felt good. Rob, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say for the audience listening out there, this is a great opportunity. And again, I put myself in my shoes being back there when starting in leadership roles. You've got a room filled with so much experience and knowledge and great leaders in various industries. So it's not just one industry, it's leadership is across various industries. It's transferable. and you're going to listen to a lot of great stories. You're going to hear a lot of knowledge being shared. For me, it's an unbelievable event to be at, even for myself, being in the same room as everyone else, including the folks that are here. I think, this is going to be a great event for everyone to attend. I'm hoping that people go out there, and you still got about 8 days left to get your tickets. So hoping you go out there and get those seats, and let's fill that room up.
Absolutely. And you can get your tickets at YPL Summit. That is YPLSUMMIT.com. Still got some room in person. You can meet some of these amazing people, pick their brains, and we're going to challenge you. This is going to be a fun event, a challenging event. You're not going to be sitting there listening to people taking notes and then wondering when lunch is. You're going to be challenged. You're going to get involved, and you're going to be challenged by them and each other. So we're very, very excited about it. But I just want to take this time to thank everybody for showing up. Thank you, all of you. You gave such amazing advice, amazing wisdom. And again, this is just a tidbit of what you're going to see at the event itself.
It was wonderful seeing all of you guys, and wonderful being on this panel. I'll just add a couple of closing remarks as we're ending the meeting. For those of that are listening, a couple of things. I'm a firm believer that you're a product of your environment, and you got to constantly put yourself in the right environment. And I've always said, if you want big results in life, you got to make big decisions, and big decisions are made at big events, right? Where you come in and you're in that environment, you're in the atmosphere, you're rubbing shoulders with great individuals, like-minded people that want to grow, do something special with their lives, and being in that environment kind of elevates your thinking, and that helps you make big decisions in life. And I'm coming from the financial industry. I'm analytical. I deal with investments, numbers, and I'll tell you the best investment you can make that has the highest rate of return is not in the stock market, is not in gold or real estate. It's investing in you. Right? Investing in yourself will give you the highest rate of return. So invest in yourself, invest the time, the money, come into the meeting, and let's have a great time.
Awesome. I'm just glad you didn't say Bitcoin. That is absolutely correct. Best return is yourself. I love that. But I really appreciate everybody who was here, anybody who's going to be listening to this in the future, and anybody who's going to be showing up to the event. We can't wait for it, and we look forward to seeing you there.